Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of Initial D, a Hong Kong action flick from 2005 that is based off of a Japanese manga and has a loaded cast of recognizable names. We got Jay Chou, Anthony Wong, Chapman To, Shawn Yue, Edison Chen, Jordon, etc. This movie is about a young man played by Jay Chou who works at a gas station and has also been delivering tofu to the resorts in Mount Akina. His father is played by Anthony Wong, who has a talented car racer, reputation. He was pretty solid back in his prime. Now, Chow's character develops a rivalry with a handful of street racers, played by Shawn Yue, Edison Chen, Jordon, etc. He also romances a cute girl played by Anne Suzuki. That's your movie. That's your plot. Now, Initial D was directed by Andrew Lau and Alan Mak, the same men who gave us Infernal Affairs. So you might go into this film expecting a certain level of quality. You would be mistaken for expecting that, because this movie is not good when you break it down by traditional filmmaking elements. The script is very underwhelming, but the street racing conflicts are decent enough. Nothing impressive, but they're decent enough. And the romantic subplot is atrocious. All of the romance in this film is just terribly written. It's horrible. I like Anne Suzuki as an actress. She was in Hana and Alice 1 year prior to this film. But her character is very poorly developed here, completely pointless to the story. And then they try to get dramatic with this wafer-thin character later on in the film, which is just totally unearned. It's really bad. Really bad. They should have just carved the romance element out of the film entirely. I don't care if it was in the manga. Get it out of this movie. And this is especially true considering some of the pacing problems in this. Initial D is about 1 hour and 50 minutes long. They should have eliminated some of the filler, including the romance. Get this down to 90 minutes tops. It's just too flimsy of a story to support anything longer than that. The acting is decent, kind of mediocre though for the most part. Anthony Wong is always good, of course, but everyone else basically just stands around looking cool. That's kind of what they do in this. You got a younger cast of dudes mostly. Some of them are successful at looking cool though, so you got to give it to them. You hand it to them there. They did pretty good looking cool. One odd thing though is that these are mostly non-Japanese actors playing Japanese characters, so that's a little bit distracting. But this movie has a lot of problems from a traditional filmmaking standpoint, and it does come off pretty cheesy in a number of spots. Now, on the positive side, this was actually shot in Japan, from what I've read, which is nice. The best thing about this movie are the street races, almost all of which take place at nighttime. There's nothing fantastic here, but they are good. The drifting does seem legit in this. Most of the races take place on curvy mountain roadways, where drifting is kind of essential. It's kind of difficult, and it's also pretty dangerous, because most of the time there's a cliff present. So if you don't hit your drift right, you could go right through the guardrail to your death, all right? There are a few bad CGI car shots here and there, but I'd say 95% of the driving seems to be real and legit, so that's good. The stunt drivers definitely earned their pay with this one. And the final race between Jay, Edison, and Jordon is a good one. It's a good way to finish the film. There's also an emphasis on the tuning of the cars, which I appreciated. There are certain times when Chow's character races with a poorly tuned car, and it affects his driving ability. So I kind of like that they implemented that into the plot. So I did enjoy that aspect as well. I like the soundtrack. And in terms of style, there are a lot of freeze frames, which some people don't like freeze frames. I do kind of like them. So they get a little repetitive in this, but kind of entertaining. So overall, I rewatched this movie because I do remember it being a little bit better back in the day, and it did not hold up quite as well as I remembered. Not a good quality film, so don't make this a high priority. But if you want some pretty good races, some dudes looking cool, some drifting on mountain roadways, it's I guess you could say it's watchable schlock, really. But yeah, it did deteriorate on the second viewing, which was kind of a disappointment. But still, if you like cheesy like racing movies with some crappy romantic subplots to sit through, check it out, I guess. It's currently available streaming on Netflix, which was also a reason I wanted to cover it. But yeah, it's also on physical media. If you happen to watch it streaming and you like it, I think you could get it pretty cheap on physical media, DVD especially. So yeah, this one's not a high recommendation, but yeah, at your own risk. And as always, we will see you next time.